Hi there, Travel by Water here. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about packing for a cruising trip on a small boat. So basically our trip is we're going 250 miles down the Rideau Canal and back. We're going to be gone for about 14 or 15 days. So we want to make sure we're prepared and have everything we need when we're gone away from home for that long. So let's talk a little bit about the process I use. So I've been planning the trip for several months, but I mean, in terms of packing, I started this morning. And the first thing I did was I sat down and I made a list of essential equipment. So I thought I would just take you quickly through my list of essential equipment, and then we'd take a look at the next step. So for my list, I split it up into categories. I have kitchen, sleeping, sailing, navigation, fun, and clothes. So kitchen, just run down through the list quickly here. Stove, pots, Dutch oven and saucepan, dishes for 4, plates, bowls, cups, cutlery, stove fuel, charcoal, dog food, water bottles, spices, cutting board, knife, spatula, dish soap and scrubby, coffee and percolator, aluminum foil, toilet paper, barbecue lighter, and cooler. Then under the sleeping list I have 3 sleeping bags, 3 mattresses, tent, umbrella. We have a guest coming, but they're bringing their own sleeping bag and mattress, so that's why it's not on the list. My next category is sailing. So anchor and rode, gas, outboard motor, paddles, tarp and bungee cords, tool kit, life jackets ×4 plus dog life jacket, safety kit, first aid kit, duct tape, and pump. Next is navigation. So under navigation I have chart folio, paper charts, logbook, list of bridges and locks, binoculars, emergency VHF, phone charger, pens and pencils, compass, and I also have a handheld GPS to help with navigation, mostly for speed. Next category is fun. It's a short list: fishing rod and tackle box, flashlight, and we'll also bring some Lego and probably some playing cards. Yeah, so clothes, I have rain gear, swim trunks, a couple pairs of shoes per person, personal items. So I mean, that's going to be unique for every individual. My next step was to tidy up the boat from the last cruise because it was still a little bit messy. So I got the interior kind of taken care of, and then I took an inventory of what's already on board so I know I don't need to pack it. So as you can see, everything's fairly tidy. Already on board. On this side, I've got a 4-man tent, blankets, sleeping bags. On this side, I've got my logbook, my paper charts, and some leftover dry goods from my last trip. So, ramen noodles, some cereal, pop, some canned goods. Okay, then an inventory of my, this is my kitchen locker, my galley locker. So I've got a cutting board, a pot, some cups, plates, bowls, a lantern, my stove, coffee percolator, some juice boxes. And then on this side I have nothing. I've got a large empty locker. I've got my safety kit, pump, emergency nav lights. So by the end of today this locker will be filled with useful stuff. Okay, well, I've got the boat fully packed and provisioned for 15 days. We've got some places we can stop along the way to recharge on things like food, and not only that, but there's lots of places for us to get fresh water. So we don't have to carry a ton of fresh water, which is nice because fresh water is heavy. Give you a little bit of a tour of how I've packed the boat. Okay, first of all, here on the starboard side, in the bilge trunk locker, we've got, there's our chart folio, and I've got my tent, 4-man tent, spare blankets, spare sweaters, life jacket on that side. Inside the chart folio, just have our navigation equipment, so our handheld GPS, logbook, charts, binoculars. And that's all of our navigation equipment. Okay, up in the bow here is where we have our bags stored. The orange North Face bag is my bag, so that's closed for 15 days, and my life jacket's there, sleeping bags are up there. We still have a couple more bags of personal effects to get on board, but that's where they'll go, nicely tucked away in the bow. It's a good place for personal belongings because clothing's not very heavy, so it's a good thing to have up in the bow. Okay, and on our starboard side here we have our pantry. This is actually quite a bit of food up here. I've got a few things here that I'm going to talk about to give you some ideas about some foods that might work well on a small boat going away for a couple of weeks with no refrigeration. Okay, so like I said, just a few very quick ideas to help you think. One thing is, instead of bringing a lot of juices, bring juice crystals or Tang, and so that'll give your water some flavor. For soups, we carry these this style of soup where it's a soup concentrate, and then you add water to it. Like I said, water is easy for us to get, so it expands the volume of the soup. Flatbread, obviously, is good for camping because it doesn't take up as much space as regular bread. It's flat. Popping corn is a lot more easier, a lot more compact to carry than, say, potato chips, so it's a good evening snack. We got the alcohol stove, gets a workout. It's pretty busy. And for this particular trip, we've got chocolate cake mix. We're going to make chocolate cake in the Dutch oven on a charcoal barbecue because we have a birthday on the trip. I also brought icing along. So there's just a few food items to give you some ideas about how you can pack compact food items without spending a whole lot of money. One other thing that I'm sure some people might be wondering is no beer or wine. We get white rum in a plastic bottle, and it takes up a lot less space than a case of beer or even a bottle of wine. We don't have ice on board, and you're mixing it with Tang, so it's not the most delicious, but it's a good option. And there's the fully packed galley. Quite a bit of room to spare. We even have acrylic wine glasses. And here's our other locker. I said I'd fill it up, and I did. So we got bottled water, we've got tools, pumps, I've got my Dutch oven in there, my fishing rod, I just have a small tackle kit, I've got a large bag of dog food in there, but as you can see, there's still room to spare. And finally, for spare fuel, we've got 2 gallons of gas, a gallon of alcohol for the stove, and a gallon of kerosene for the lamp. Good ventilation out here. That 2 gallons of gas should last us probably about a week, I'm guessing. A gallon of alcohol stove fuel will last us the season, and the kerosene, same thing. A gallon of kerosene for a small lamp is lots. Okay, so that's how I pack for 15 days of camp cruising with a family of 3 with a dog. I hope you found it useful. If you have a small boat or are thinking about getting a small boat for cruising, thank you for watching the Travel by Water channel. Have a good day.